Oi, oi.
Hello again.
So will I. How's it going? You still on this? Still thinking this is the one?
No, I haven't done a live since I last spoke to you, to be honest with you.
It's
not that particularly interesting to me. I just like this because it gets quite triggering. And people like to...
The thing is like, you know, a lot of investigation has gone on since we last spoke. And, you know, they're finding out that Will's not who he says he is. You know, Jared...
What's that got to do with it? It's nothing to do with it. The sun isn't going to change depending on who Will is.
I think they're going to happen. What's going to happen is that they're going to see something down there, and they're going to come back and say, "Yes, we saw a 24-hour sun." I think it's already set. I think it's already, you know, they've already set because
Jaren's going to lie, is he?
Well, I don't know if he's going to lie. They're going to see something. Whether it's the actual sun or not is up for question. Because they were meant to go last year. There was meant to be like a Brazilian flat earther. It was meant to go 2023, but they weren't ready. They were told, no, not to go then. They need to go at 2024. And this is...
Who was going to go last year? Where is this information coming from?
If you follow Banjo, Sun and Moon Japan, he's been tracking the whole thing, Jaren, Will, Antarctica, the whole thing. So he's Brazilian, right? But he's living in Japan now. So he's been following the Brazilian flat earthers, and he said last year the same thing happened with a Brazilian flat earther. They were going to go to Antarctica, they were going to prove the 24-hour sun. And he's saying it's the same script as what he saw last year, but the guy didn't go last year because for whatever reasons. But we put it down to they wasn't ready. Whatever they're going to do, they wasn't ready for the actual experiment. Now, obviously, one way that they could do this, right? I'll just give you an idea of how they could possibly fake it.
They're already doing it their way. Like, why do you need a different... Why is every flat earther looking to change something? This is... They're saying, bring whatever you need to bring, do your own experiments once you're there. All he's doing is paying for people to go. These trips go every year, all the time. All he's doing is paying for people so they can't say, I would go, but I can't afford it, like Weiss always used to say, right?
Yeah, but they're going...
Now you're saying, no, actually, we should do it this way. You're never happy. This is the problem. I've been reliably informed that you're just a fucking troll anyway. And you're just trolling and don't actually believe any of this shit, right?
Yeah, what do you mean I don't believe any of this stuff?
Sorry, what?
What do you mean I don't believe any of this?
Not flat earth. People tell me you're not even a flat earther. You're just coming to lives to like get attention and stir shit up.
I've been doing this since 2014. I've been in the streets. I did the European tour. I've been up and down the country.
A European tour? Or did you have tour dates on the back of your shirt? Flat Earth on tour?
Well, there was a tour throughout Europe and England where they went around speaking to people about the shape of the Earth. I've done all things. I've been out, made measurements. I've been in debates. So I don't see how I'm trolling. People just say that because,
I don't know. This is what people tell me, right? I'm just putting it out there
because I debunk them and they don't like it, so they look for any kind of way of discrediting flat earthers somehow, some way. But it's definitely flat, and I'm giving you an explanation of how they might fake this 24-hour sun. All right.
So, please, I'd love to hear it. Go on.
Well, there's meant to be an ISS circle in the sky already, right? So we're told it's an ISS. So they've managed to get something that goes around the Earth constantly. What's to say they don't have something similar to that in the region that they are living, where they are, and it just goes around that region, and they see this bright light and say, well, yeah, that's the sun. So that's one possible way of doing it.
So where will the real sun be when they're doing that?
Well, that's the thing, you see, because they're not live streaming it, it won't matter because they're going to record it and bring back the footage, right? So it's not like they're going to see another place at another time because they're not live streaming it. If they live
so you're just doing that thing then where you're now going to say that any flat earther that goes is a shill and they can't be trusted and they're making it up.
No, I'm saying that there's no 24-hour sun on the...
But you wouldn't go, would you, Gas? You wouldn't go.
I wouldn't go, no.
So this is your position. I won't go, but whoever does have the balls to go, I don't believe.
Yeah, because it's not an experiment that would prove the shape of the Earth. That's what we're trying to explain to Jared.
So what flat model has a 24-hour sun And you're saying they can replace the sun and do this, but how? When are they going to switch from the real sun and replace it with a different sun without anybody noticing when they're all filming it at all times? And there's also other places in the world that will still be reliant on that real sun, and they will still see the fake sun, as you're calling it.
It's going to sound like elaborate, when, you know, the explanations for it, but they did it for the moon landing. They went overboard, you know, to an elaborate hoax. So who's to say that they won't put them in some sort of like a studio of some kind? I mean, they're not going to be able to verify where they've gone. They're just going to get in a plane and they're going to be told you're flying here.
They're all going to have GPS, right?
Yeah, but regardless, they're just going to be told where to go, basically. They can't just go freely.
Why are you making excuses up before they've even done it? Do you not realise how ridiculous that is?
It's not about making excuses. It's pointing out that even if they do make this observation, it doesn't change what we're standing on. Measurements would change that. An observation would change that.
It is an observation.
No. I mean like an observation of the Earth. So you go up, you look at the Earth, you see curvature. Not looking at the sun and then saying, oh, wow, we have a model, a presupposed model, bear in mind, a model that, you know, you presuppose and said, well, we say it works like this and this is what, you know, that's not reality. Reality shows us that measurements, long distance observations, show that there is no curvature. So I don't understand why you would go down this path, which is why a lot of flat earthers are skeptical and saying...
Do you think that Baron Rutledge doesn't know what he's doing? Is he a shill then in your eyes?
It's not that he's a shill. He's just he's interpreting the data incorrectly. So he's looking...
So you know how to... You're not a surveyor, but you know how to interpret the data correctly, and he doesn't, and he is a surveyor. This is the flat earth position. Scientists, physicists, all wrong. I know how to really do it. Do it then. Nah, I don't really know.
It's not that you're not listening. So he looks through his theodolite.
Absolutely am listening.
He looks through his theodolite and he says, wow, what I'm looking at must be because of Earth curve. He's not actually physically measuring Earth curve. He's saying, well, what I'm looking at, it must be because of what we've been told about the globe. And what I'm looking at must be because of the Earth curvature. So he interprets that as Earth curvature, without realizing looking through long distance theodolites are going to give like distortion, different distance, different heights of the horizon to the crosshairs, things like that. So that's what he's doing. He's just interpreting the data and saying, well, that must be because of curvature. Just like when you look at a boat going over the horizon, you think, well, that must be because of Earth's curvature. You interpret it in that way.
What's the reason then?
That what? The boats disappear?
Yeah.
Well, they disappear because of perspective. They disappear because of horizon. That's an apparent position. It disappears because of convergence, divergence, things like this. The way the eye works. There's lots of different reasons, but it's not because of the Earth curve.
Anything but that, yeah?
Well, it's not anything but that. Earth curve hasn't been measured. It's never been measured. It's never been seen. It's never been observed. It's all based on a presupposition.
No, you just say that because you reject every piece of evidence you ever see, and then you say that I don't believe that. Therefore, this has never been proved. This is what you all do. The same thing. This is why this conversation is quite boring to me, because it doesn't go anywhere. This, to me, is something that people should be getting behind, to say this is at least positive evidence, right? And no one on your side's interested in it. You're all making excuse after excuse, and it ain't even happened. It's 4 months away, and you've got... There's a bloke. Did you see that video of that bloke making 16 attempts to explain this, right? And kept deleting one after the other every time he got proven to be wrong. Even Jaron was calling him out on this, saying that wouldn't work, mate. You're fucking wrong. And he just carried on doing it over and over and over again. Eventually just gave up, because none of you can create a model that this would work on. So now you're saying simulate a sun and all this other stuff. I
think if this was done honestly, like where people look at the people involved and think they're doing it honestly, then there wouldn't be a problem. But when you have people just come out of the blue, right, and have a similar story to what we've seen before in the past with other flat earthers, then there's going to be skepticism. people will be like, well, hold on a second, that's not right.
I understand skepticism, but be skeptical after the event, not before. Who's this new person?
Hello. Can I just say one thing to anyone who thinks the Earth's flat? I mean, even if it was, does it even matter?
Are you in a hurricane, by the way? You sound like
no, I'm sorry, I'm outside having a cig at work. Sorry. I'm in the UK. All I can say is I don't know what the argument is, because if the Earth is flat, why does it matter? We're all living here, we're all breathing, we've got gravity. Does it matter if it's flat around? I mean, it is round, we all know that. But does it matter? I don't know why there's an argument.
Well, why
does it matter? We all live and breathe the same, whether it's flat or round.
I get what you're saying, but the shape is not the important thing. It's the lie. So nobody wants to be lied to about where they live, or just lied to in general. So we've spent money on, you know, space agencies, European, NASA, whatever. They've invested in this lie. They've spent lots of money when they could have put that money in other resources or other areas instead of promoting this lie.
Can I just say something, whatever your name is, Gas Press, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're really bothered about being lied to because people say the Earth is flat, I think you've got bigger problems. What about the government lying to us about more important things? I mean, the world being flat does it matter? No. What about being lied to for more important stuff like homeless, feeding the starving kids, you know, all that sort of stuff, being lied to over that and raising money for stuff what isn't really there? Isn't that more important than the world being flat?
That all comes from globalism. The flat Earth is the biggest lie. If people realise that we've been lied to on this scale... I'm a
Lancashire man.
If people realise we've been lied to on this scale, they'll start to question everything about what they've been lied to. So they'll start to look into what you've just suggested, other things that also the government have lied to us about.
Question things like that are actually happening.
It's such a pointless lie, I think, is it? Like, to me, it's such a... I know you're all religious. Are you religious, Gas?
Yeah.
There you go. So that's your reason, right? That God, I mean, there couldn't be a God that could possibly create a universe. It'd be too weak for that. But he can definitely create a thing with a dome on it to look at.
You know what's even more funny? They'll believe that people are lying that the Earth is flat, but yet they'll believe in a person who could heal people and, you know, walk on water, and he died and came back alive. But that's true. But the Earth has to be flat.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's not the shape, it's the lie. Do you want, like, your children, children's children, your future generations to be lied to about where they live?
Well, it depends. If they're gonna walk off,
put money and resources. Let's say they want to go to space. You know, they waste years of education wanting to go to space.
When do you think they let them in? When do you think they let the astronauts into the Gas? Like they go through all their training, they do all their work, they go through everything. They say, "Psst, by the way, you're not really going anywhere."
Yeah, if you're not part of the club, you're not getting in. So that's how you get in, if you're part of the club.
Gas man, whatever your name is, Gas Press. Are you planning on travelling somewhere and you're a bit scared you might fall off?
No, because we live in an enclosed system. It's enclosed. You can't go anywhere.
All right. How would gravity work at a flat Earth?
They don't believe.
Gravity? Which gravity are you talking about? Newtonians or
Einsteinian? Jesus, Gas, you got the parroting going on there. Like,
there you
it's
go.
the same script.
He's just parroting gravity without realising what he's talking about. That's
listen, I get you. Like, sarcastic, what's your name? Like, are you quite new to flat Earth? Like, everything you're going to say to him, he would have heard a trillion times.
You know the answers. I mean, you know the responses.
We all know that the Earth's not flat. Let's face up to it. The world is
gravity, and it's like
one at a time. Hold on, come on, one at a time. Who's speaking?
Go on, let's like.
I'm going to go anyway. I'm going home from work. So thank you very much for letting me in. Thank you for listening. Cheers. Take it easy. Have a good day. And
adios.
Gas Press, the world is round.
All right, catch you later.
Sorry. Bye.
Well, if it's round, I mean, there should be evidence for it. All the evidence that says
like the sun doing 24 hours round red in Antarctica that you don't want to look at it, right?
That just means the sun does that in that part of the Earth at that point. It doesn't mean that the Earth, like you're standing
show me a flat model that would be possible to continue to work with the rest of the countries as well, where it should be.
Any sensible flat earther would not be claiming like models in terms of how the sky works.
Because this is what I've said to you before, though, that you run so far away from models, but then you'll use them when they're convenient. You just said there's a dome, so you make all of these claims, and when I say that's your model, you say that's not my model, because you know that this specific thing doesn't work on it, right?
We'll give you a general idea of what it might look like, but again, no flat earther has travelled from one end to the other, from top to bottom, to know exactly how everything works. So to even ask that question is kind of redundant, because how would a flat earther know this in the first place?
What are you doing? Having a piss there while you're talking to me? Is that what you're
I'm making a drink.
All right.
I'm having some pineapple juice. 1 second. So yeah, models. Flat earthers have never really claimed. They've given depictions of projections of what they think it might look like, right? But they've never said definitively, I've travelled here, I've been around.
I didn't say nothing. You sound like you're in a cave now.
No, I was in my kitchen. I'm not now. I'm back in my living room. But thing is, yeah, this Antarctic experiment is not going to finalise it. He's wasting his money. What he needs to do, if he wants to spend £100,000 plus, he should be sending rockets with cameras to see if we can get out of the dome, get out of the firmament.
I completely agree with you. He is wasting his money, but he would also be wasting his money if he put cameras on rockets and tried to get out of the dome, because none of you would believe that either. Right? Whatever he spent his money on, you would all have pre-excuses for it.
The test should be to see how high or how far we can go, how we can get out.
And if the test was that, you'd say the test should be to see if there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, because we can't go there.
Yeah, okay, but one of the biggest problems is the person. It's trusting the person. So let's say Jaron did it like this. Let's say Jaron said, okay, you know what, guys? I want to go to Antarctica. I'm going to crowdfund it. You guys support me, and I'll go there, and we'll do it like this. But because he's kind of done it this way, it's kind of weird. Right, getting a free. Well, it's weird because he's been in it for so long. That kind of money could have been made since the beginning, over £100,000 in flat Earth. There's lots of money in flat Earth. That could have been made. He could have been there every year since. It's just odd at this time.
Will Duffy didn't create trips to Antarctica. They go anyway, right?
That's what I'm saying. So Jaron could have gone ages ago, any time over the years.
Jaron hasn't got that money. Where's Jaron get that money?
Yeah, but
from?
I'm saying that because he's got a big influence, he could have crowdfunded. Said people, look, fund me over the next 2 or 3 years, raise £100,000. He could have easily done that. People would have been like, yeah, go for it. Ballers would have paid for it. Flighters would have paid for it. And then it would have sent him down with a, ball. He could have done the same thing off his own back. But because he's doing it like this, it seemed weird and strange.
Why? Well, it's only because you're suspicious of everything, right? What is he doing that's weird and strange? He's just
going
said
with a stranger. He's going with a guy that nobody knows. Who's when you watch the videos, he's lying. 1 minute he knows about flat Earth. 1 minute he doesn't know about flat Earth. 1 minute he's never looked into flat Earth. 1 minute he's looked into heliocentric. 1 minute he hasn't looked into heliocentric. So he's changing his story about, what he knows and what he doesn't know. So like I said, if a flat earther had done this off their own back and said, we are going down there, because then there'd be more trust. You've got a Glober now funding this, heading this. And it just looks very strange from the outside. It looks very weird. Who does that? What baller is that invested?
No flat earther would ever.
What baller? Think about it. You would never do this. If you had 100,000...
I haven't got the money. If I was a multi-millionaire and I was getting pissed off by flat earthers constantly calling me a shill and everything online, I might do it if I've got plenty of money. How do you know what I would do?
Because that's not the norm. Normal people would not go and fund someone else to go down there and see a 24-hour sun.
Exactly. Why don't they crowd? Do you think, right, so Gas, people like Whitsitt, right? People like Whitsitt, people like Jaron and Dave Weiss especially, and all these people, right? They could 100% crowdfund this and do it themselves.
Exactly. That's my point. But that's my point. If it was done like that, like in-house, It was like, right, guys, we're going to do this massive adventure. You know, we're going to go down and we're going to see if there's a 24-hour sun like this. Not, oh, let me put forward a challenge to flat earthers to try and... because something doesn't seem right. They're up to something. And what that is, we're going to find out in December. You know, but that's why flat earthers are very skeptical. It's like, why is it after 10 years later, they want to come now and go down there when it's been there the whole time, you know? So that's what the problem is.
Gotten popular.
What's gotten popular?
The whole flat Earth thing. People like are not taking it seriously, but you guys have enough numbers and have been complaining about it enough. And people like Dave Weiss and Jeranism and Witsit and all the big flat Earth names have been very vocal about the impossibility of a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. So now it's just a person who has the money and the willpower and the desire to be like, hey, let's see. Let's just go down there and check. And for some reason, people like you, Gas, are like upset with this. And I don't get it.
Because it's not the done thing. That kind of thing should be done in-house. Like where Dave...
Was it not being done in-house?
Where Witsit was going to go anyway on his own, I think. He was planning to go. He would have got...
Well, he claims. I don't know how that would have worked. How would Witsit have worked out of him going around the exact same time that he would have been going anyway? But for some reason, he canceled because he just miraculously found out his wife was pregnant. And again, like pregnant now, like probably has the baby recently, is going to have all the free time in the world 3 months from now when this experiment's actually happening.
Oh, they're gonna go. They're gonna, like I said, it's flat earthers. You know, we look into things, we come to conclusions, and we suspect that they're gonna go, and they're gonna come back and say that they saw this light go around their heads. That's what we reckon they're gonna do. But how they do it is going to be the question.
So you trust them or you don't trust them?
No, because we already know the outcome. We already know the outcome. We know that there's no 24.
We already know the outcome because it's a globe.
Yeah, what's the outcome?
We know there's no 24-hour sun, but we know they're going to go down and say that there is. That's what we understand.
So they're going to lie? They're going to lie to you? They're going to lie to the flat Earth community?
Not that they might not lie. They might see something down there.
Oh,
so
they're just not as smart. They're just not as smart as you, the rest of you that didn't have the balls to go. Right? They're just not as bright.
There's going to be a sun-shaped object that does all of the same things that the sun does, and it's going to be above the horizon for 24 hours.
We're going to find out if it's the
actual. Not the sun.
Look, every video that has been down there already, we've scrutinized from top to bottom. So if there's anything wrong or anything, that doesn't look right, it will be
What
pointed
expertise do you have to scrutinize anything, Gas?
Well, we just have the keen eye, right? So once you have the keen eye and you can look for things that are not, continuous or consistent or anything like that. Like, for example, one of them we saw the clouds were the same in the beginning and at the end of the video.
Where was the issue with the 5-day time lapse where no clouds are repeating?
Well, I'm sure that's been looked at, and
Oh, I'm sure that's been. I couldn't tell you, but I'm sure that's been
debunked. I'm not
debunked.
every single video, but I'm saying the ones that have been put forward, we've looked at them, we've seen that there are a lot of things.
I feel like you're already reaching for your issues with any new information that this observable phenomena that does happen that needs to be explained on both models.
Not necessarily.
You're just arguing. No, your argument is that, it doesn't happen, so I don't need to have to come up with an explanation for how it works.
Yeah.
That's all we're at
because
right now.
even if it does, remember, you guys say there are stars that go one way and another. That doesn't matter to flat Earth. That doesn't matter to flat earthers because the sky doesn't determine what's on the ground.
It doesn't matter to flat earthers because it completely debunks flat Earth. That's why it doesn't matter.
Logical consistency here, Gas. If you change,
because you say something, you have it on video.
I want some logical consistency.
Mm.
When we move about this plane or globe that we may or may not be on, does that change what we see in the sky?
When we move about the ground, yeah, of course.
Okay, so when we move about the ground, that changes what we observe in the sky.
Just the way we observe it, so things might get lower.
So the
or
way
higher,
that we
higher or
observe
lower.
it changes it depending on our location.
Yeah, things might get higher or lower in the sky.
So something to do with the ground that we are walking on changes what we observe. So I don't understand the logic.
You said you're moving about.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand the logic in saying like, oh, you can't look at the sky to determine what's the floor. When we walk on the floor, it changes what we observe in the sky. So clearly, we need to explain that.
No, if the ground is not curving, no measurable curving, no matter what's in the sky, doesn't change.
What information do you have that the ground isn't curving?
There's no measurable curvature.
What is measurable curvature?
There's no drop from horizontal. So there's
Yes,
no.
there is. Is the horizon, does the horizon rise to eye level? No. So then there's drop.
The horizon's not measurable. It's not geometrical.
So then why are you brought up the horizon?
And I've just said, if you measure a horizontal, there's no drop from that.
There is. That argument is, does the horizon drop to rise or lower to eye level? And it drops. It drops.
But the horizon's not a physical thing to measure.
So the apparent
Don't
horizon
you get bored
does
with
not
the
rise.
mental gymnastics,
Yeah,
guys?
does the apparent horizon rise to eye level? Yes or no?
I love exposing these lies that we've been told.
You're not exposing. Just 2 seconds, right? 2 seconds. So it says, let's ignore Antarctica and the fake sun that you think that they're going to be able to project into the sky on a big machine that no one's going to notice, that's going to replace the actual sun without anyone noticing. Let's ignore that for a minute. So you would agree, though, because you have to agree, if you're in Australia, the closer you get to December and their summer solstice in their summer in December, the sun is visible for longer and longer and longer and longer periods of time as the year goes on, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So wouldn't it be logical that if you go even further south, the sun would be visible for even longer periods of time?
As you go around the south, the sun goes at a wider circuit.
Yeah, that's what you say. But I'm saying in reality, in Australia, I've got relatives there, so they can confirm this.
No, again, these are just stories. This is not like...
You think that December isn't summer in Australia?
No, I'm not
That's
saying
just
that.
a story.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying you can't confirm Australia, South America, South Africa at the same time. So whatever happens in Australia could be different what happens in South America. You can't confirm the both at the same time.
By what metric? By what metric?
What?
By gas pressure's metric or by reality?
Well, we haven't confirmed. Look, again, I'm talking about things like if it were true, it would have been confirmed. There's nothing that...
It's been confirmed summer in December in Australia, that's when their summer is. Because the sun is in the sky for longer.
I'm not arguing that. I'm saying just because it happens in Australia, what happens over that side will not be the same on the other side in like South America or
anywhere in the southern hemisphere. That's their summer. The sun is in the sky for longer. In our winter, it's their summer. The sun is visible in the sky for prolonged periods of time, way into the PM.
No one's arguing that. I'm not disputing that.
So you go even further south. What do you think will happen? Hello, Lisa.
What? Yeah. Why is it the further we get away from the tropics, the longer the day gets in the summer for Australia? Why is it the further we get from the sun?
Just answer it, Gas.
As you spread
just
out,
say it.
Say what? You're saying that as you go further, yeah, but it wouldn't go like I just said.
South Africa, summer. Australia, summer. South America, summer. Sun in the sky for longer in December than in May, June. So you go even further south. All right. What do you think will continue? Because the further south you go, the longer the sun is visible. So if you keep going south, what would happen?
Yeah, but the sun doesn't just keep going out south. It comes back in.
Yeah, but what you observe in the night sky, it doesn't become the night sky anymore. For some reason, the further south we go, the longer the day gets.
Yes.
Why is that?
Yeah, well, that could be explained with coffee costing.
No, it can't. That's just a shit thing that you all
that
make
is
up.
a definite explanation because it's not the sun, it's the light that you have.
The sun
we're observing
is
the
visible
sun in the sky. Like when you go to Ushuaia, Argentina, that's what you observe.
Yeah.
Well, look, we have there's a lot to learn about where we live. This is the whole
No,
point.
there's nothing to learn about the sun. The sun in the sky, everyone can observe. Anybody that's in those countries and those continents can see that the sun is visible in the sky for longer in December, way longer than it is in June.
Yeah, but the path, where it goes, what you say it does is different to what we say it does. You say it goes 24 hours down south. We say it doesn't do that.
Right, doesn't matter. Ignore 24 hours for the moment. Do you agree that the more south you go, in whichever direction you want to call south, right? Would you agree that the sun is visible in the sky for way longer in December than it is in June?
It's light. I would say you have light.
Oh, come on. This is absolute drivel you're talking now.
Well, again, this is, these things haven't been proven. You're just going off a model. You're saying what you think would happen based off a model, not what happens.
People live in these places, right? Are you telling me that these people that live in these places don't know that they're not seeing the sun after 5 p.m? It's just light. Like they can't see the sun and nobody's noticed.
Well, I'm not making any claims about what you're saying people see or don't see. I'm just saying that around the south, you have more light. That's why that would be explained by that.
Yeah, I get how you explain that, right? I understand all your coffee cup stuff that you say where you move this thing around outside the dome or
and
go
you're
in
just saying
wherever
that
you
they see
need
the
to
sun.
do.
You're saying that they see the sun. And again, we don't know that.
What do you mean? Real people live in these places, right? People live in. Do you think that it would have escaped them, and someone wouldn't have thought by this point? Hang on a minute. 5 o'clock is the last time I ever see the sun. Like the sun's never visible. We've got light, but we haven't got sun after 5 o'clock. Do you really believe that?
No, again, I'm not claiming how a model would work. I'm not claiming how the sun would work. You are. I'm not saying anything on that point. I'm just
speaking on reality. I'm not claiming anything. And someone would have mentioned this.
Yeah, you're saying this is what happens, okay? But I haven't seen any of this to answer you to say yes or no. That's what I mean.
know it's true. You just have to deny it. Otherwise, you have to concede the point about Antarctica, and you don't want to.
Well, no, without observations, documented, I'm not just going to believe it because you said so, right?
It's not I said so. I don't live there, right? But you are suggesting, what is more likely? That the sun is actually visible in these places later and later and later as the year goes on into our summer, their winter? Or that nobody realizes that the sun actually sets, but the light remains for hours and hours and hours after, and nobody's picked up on it? That's your position on this, right? Not mine. So which is more likely?
Again, I'm not saying either or. You're making out like I'm saying something. I'm not. You're the one making the claim about what the sun does.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
you just won't agree. You just won't agree. Right?
If that's what you say happens, I mean, again, I can't refute it or
That's
not.
exactly what happens in the north, and as far as we can see, that's exactly what happens in the south. So that doesn't work on the flat Earth anyway. But ignoring that, the further south you go, logic says that the sun would be there for even longer in the sky, right? Until you get to the furthest southern point.
Yeah, you're building a model. You're saying what is, all these things. I'm not doing that. I'm listening to what you're saying, but again, without proof, without it being documented where the sun actually goes and what it actually does.
You don't think anybody documents the sunset in the south? You don't think that's documented?
I'm saying that we're told it does 24 hours in the south. That's what we're told. You're telling me this. And I'm saying, no, we don't know what the sun does.
So if you went to a little weather app in Australia, they couldn't tell you at the bottom of the weather app when sunset is.
You're not listening.
No, that's exactly what you're saying. You're pretending this is just a claim and nobody's actually observed it. That's exactly what you're saying.
I'm saying that you have a model and your model says the sun does this. We're yet to find that out because in December they're going down there to see if the sun does.
But I'm taking it to the furthest point we can observe and saying what is observed in that point. And you're just saying that's what you say.
Well, yeah, because I'm not making any claims about the sun or what it does without.
It doesn't matter what claims you're making. That is what happens, right? The sun is in the sky for longer. There is a time of sunrise and sunset in these places that is observed, predicted, and
Okay, I haven't argued with this. I haven't said no or absolutely.
so on that logic, go a bit further south. The sun logic dictates the sun is in the sky for even longer until you get to the most southerly point where it's always in the sky.
Right, exactly. That's what you're claiming. That's what hasn't been found out yet.
It's obvious, isn't it? Like if that's the way it works from the equator down, and it keeps getting more and more that way, why would it suddenly switch when you get past there?
Because it goes around like.
But it goes around regardless.
But then it comes back in on itself.
According to you, it goes around regardless, right? So there shouldn't be a longer period of sun in the sky, even if you ignore Antarctica. In Australia, why would the sun be in the sky for longer in the winter, in their summer?
Yeah, I'm not going to give any model answers without actually seeing what the sun does. I can't make any of those claims. I can't.
But your claim, so a flat Earth model would claim that the reason the sun sets is perspective. When the sun goes too far away, that it appears to set. Right? That's what you all claim, right?
See, the problem is that when you try to pin flat earthers down on something, you know, we literally don't know what the sun. Now, I'm not saying I'm saying these things. I'm just saying we don't know if there's a Pac-Man sun. We don't know if there's multiple suns.
A Pac-Man sun. You didn't just say there was a Pac-Man sun.
I'm not saying I'm saying that. I'm saying that we have no idea where the sun goes when it goes where it goes. No one has followed the sun in its entirety. So you're just making a claim based on what you think the model looks like. We simply do not know.
That's what you claim. You claim the sun goes round in circles, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn.
That's what we see so far, but we don't have the full entire circuit of the sun.
Observations from the southern hemisphere continents does not back up your claim.
Well, there isn't observations that show that yet. And again, the sky,
sunrise and sunset.
Again, you're asking about the sky to determine the shape of the Earth. Even if the sun does whatever you say it does, it doesn't change what you're standing on.
It's not even what I say it does, right? It's what everybody sees it does.
Okay, even if it does that, it doesn't change. There is no measurable curvature to the Earth. Water cannot curve around the exterior of an object without a force.
You're moving the goalposts. We're talking about this. We're talking about that. You're claiming that they're going to fake this somehow. So I'm pointing out they don't have to, because it already does what it's predicted to do in the furthest points that people live in, right? So why would that change the further south you get?
The only way to verify that would be to live stream it, so that if they say, we see the sun here, then other people in the world can say, well, yeah, the sun's not here, it's there. People in South America can look at where the sun would be and where it sets and where it rises. That's the problem. So unless they live stream it, why is anyone going to believe it? If it's not in real time where everyone can look at it, I mean, they should be able to.
So if someone was in the most southerly point of Chile, right? Mm-hmm. And they said to you, tonight, here's the sunset. I've just videoed and put it on TikTok, and the sunset at 10:30 p.m. tonight. You would say, I can't verify that. I don't believe it. This person would have no reason to lie. You just wouldn't believe that they'd done that, right?
No, because they would do it properly. They would be live streaming it. Like you would say, look, here's the sun, here's the compass. Again, not just off a whim, doing things properly. Not just because you think these things happen. I'm talking purposely
they
built.
Objectively happen. Like this is an indefensible point for you, but this is why people laugh at flat earthers. You can't concede an obvious. This is an obvious point.
But I haven't argued about any of those things. I haven't denied or whatever. If you say that's what happens, I'm saying that's fine. That doesn't change what we're standing on. Whatever the sun does,
you need to say that, because everything else it falsifies what you're saying. So the sky falsifies.
Want that. Globers want that because in their mind
it doesn't matter what globers want. The sun does what the sun does.
No,
all the time.
No, globers want this. Just like globers wanted a moon landed They faked it, made it happen. If
someone's just accused me of cognitive dissonance, so I've just got to do this. I've just got to play something here.
Sounds like cognitive dissonance to me, mate.
There you go.
Absolutely. So look, when Globers want something done on this massive scale, they will fake it. They will hoax it to deceive the people, as they've done with the moon landings. They spent millions deceiving people, put it in a studio. There's nothing to say they won't do the same thing again. If it comes to the globe,
China.
If it comes to the globe, the shape of the Earth, they will spend no expense. They will spare no expense when it comes to hoaxing this. So if that means having these people in a certain place at a certain time, and having them observe something, they will do that. And that's why it won't be live streamed. Just like the moon landing wasn't live, they pre-recorded it, sent the video to Australia, and then re-beamed it back to England or something nonsense.
So you're just going to ignore everything I said about how the sun stays in the sky for longer and longer the further south you get, because it doesn't work for you, right?
No, I'm not saying it does or it doesn't. If that's what it does, you're saying that's what it does. Okay, but that doesn't change the shape of the Earth.
Right.
You get that, right?
Well, there is no flat model that could happen on, right? That's
Flat
the point.
Earthers have never claimed to really have a working model.
Yes. What do you mean?
Predictions.
What do you mean? Flat Earthers have never claimed to have a model. How many lives do I scroll past on here where there's some dickhead standing there with the AE map behind him, talking to people like everyone, like a school teacher, everyone's stupid if you don't believe this.
That's not what Globers are asking for. Globers are asking for a predictive model that makes predictions about the stars, the moon, the sun.
So you believe the AE map, right? The what's it called? The Gleason's map. You think that's your map, right?
I mean, it's just, again, I wouldn't stand by it 100%. I have no idea if that's how it looks.
Okay, so something along those lines.
Could be like, yeah, that's an idea of how the Earth might be.
So make the sun go round and round above Antarctica on that map somehow.
It doesn't. It wouldn't.
Right.
That's why I'm telling you they're going to hoax it in December. Try to pay attention. Use your brain.
Mate,
if you know...
don't start that. You're a flat earther. Don't sit here saying you start using your brain. You literally believe everything you've told, right? So don't try.
No, but when I say use your brain, you got to use... I mean from this point. If you know the Earth is flat, like there's no curvature, then obviously they're going to fake it in December because there isn't...
How? That's my point I'm getting to. Tell me how they're going to do it.
Well, like I just said, one idea that was being thrown around was that the ISS goes around the Earth, right? Goes around and around and around and around and around. Who's to say that they don't have something similar to this with a super bright light? China did it. They've made these simulation suns. It's not that difficult. Why do you Globers act like this is a difficult thing to do?
What do you mean it's not difficult? If they've got a simulator sun, and I know what you're talking about because I've seen this thing. I'll speak to flat earthers quite often.
Yeah.
How are they going to get that into the sky with nobody noticing? How are they going to get that to then mirror the sun, like take its place somehow, get the other sun out of the sky, and then start rotating it around exactly how it's supposed to? What's going to power it? How's it going to stay there?
Let's use our brains once again. They don't have to get the other sun out the sky. You're on a plane. You're being taken somewhere. So that means you land somewhere. They could have the light up already when you get there, or not. It could be on its way around. It's not, again, it's
so
not
your argument is,
right now, they're setting it up right now. The studio is being set up.
Your argument is they're going to be flown to a studio.
I don't know if it's a studio, but some sort of elaborate setup so that they see what they want them to see. That's the whole point.
What, Jaren and Whitsitt are that thick, are they? That they would get out and wouldn't realise that they're in a studio?
Well, they would have tested it already, right? They would have had
That'd
people
be
down there.
some sort of fucking mammoth studio, that, wouldn't it?
No, it wouldn't have to be mammoth. Again, it just has to be an object bright enough in the distance that mimics or looks like the sun.
They would spend that much money every time a trip goes to Antarctica.
They've done it before.
Yeah, but there's regular trips for normal people to Antarctica all the time, right? You can say that you don't believe in the moon landing or anything else you want to say, right? Whatever. I don't care about that. We're talking about this. That's astronauts. You can potentially have an argument with saying they were all in on it. There was only a handful of them and we've never seen it, blah, 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 blah. Irrelevant. This is normal people with anyone with any money can go and do this trip all the time, multiple times a year. Are you saying to me that all of these people, like when you go and see Santa, they take you in a little pretend reindeer and you go to a pretend village? You saying that that's what they're going to do with
but you've got to remember that this year they're taking Neil deGrasse, they're taking William Shatner, they're taking that astronaut. This has never happened before.
They've all expressed interest in going. Nobody's taking them, right? They've all expressed interest in going
this year. I'm saying that this year, 2024, when they've got the technology, not last year, not the year before, not 2018 when it was, popping off, not 2015, not before. Now, technology is ready, that all the stars are going down there. They're taking Will Duffy and his crew down there.
Why do you think people are interested in going this year?
Because the technology is ready to do it. That's why. Last year,
so you're saying Will Duffy is just...
It was supposed to have happened last year with a Brazilian flat earther crew, but they didn't go. Something happened, but they couldn't go. This year, they're ready. They're ready to send the stars down there. They're ready to send the flat earthers. They're ready to send the globe earthers down there. Something is going on this year why they're sending everyone down there. Again, this is very suspicious to flat earthers, very skeptical. Why now? Why the stars going? What's going on? What are they going to see that they couldn't see last year?
You guys just piece things together badly. Like, people are showing interest and jumping on this train because this has become a bit of a thing, because Will's made it a bit of a thing. And I'll tell you what, it wouldn't be as much of a thing if Dave Weiss would have just said immediately, yeah, okay, I'm in. Then it would just be, okay, this is settled, and it would be happening, and that would be it. People would be making their plans. But instead, it's dragging on and on and on because you guys are coming up with excuse after excuse as to why you will see a 24-hour sun and why it completely fits the flat earth. And then others are saying it definitely won't happen. You're coming up with it's going to be a studio and all this other stuff. If you guys just actually backed your model. I'm
not saying a studio. I'm saying they'll use something like the ISS that goes around the Earth. They'll use something that can be, at a distance. Remember, it's got to be far away, low at the horizon. That's not difficult to hoax, to just have something go around you at a distance. But
you're already calling hoax. Like, if you guys just stood behind your model, backed what you've always said will happen, you still say there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica, right? So why don't you just let it happen? You're the ones drawing attention to it. I'm only doing this live because of Flat Earthers' reaction to it, right? Many people are, the amount of Globers, people that you can't stand, that monetize stuff on YouTube all the time, are making content, so much money out of laughing at Flat Earthers about this, right? If fucking Weiss and these people would have just said, you know what? I know the Earth's flat. There's no way there's going to be a 24-hour sun. I'm in. If you're paying, I'm going. That would be the end of it, and we'd all be waiting till December to see the result. But instead, the ridiculousness that everybody's fucking getting their knickers in a twist about, with all of this making excuse before it's happened and all this other shit, and denying reality and denying observable things that happen all the time and moving the goalposts. That's what's made it this thing that now all the celebrities are like, what's going on? What's this argument about? Right, I'll go. Like, that's why it's happened.
Yeah. But again, if it was done in-house, then yeah, maybe. But because it's been done by you guys...
He's nobody. Had you ever heard of Will Duffy before the Friday experiment?
I'm not saying you specifically, but you guys, the Globers are the most slipperiest people to prove their globe. They will do anything to prove they're on a globe, right? So that means lying, hoaxing, faking. They will go down. We've gone through the scenarios. They will either lie and say they saw it and didn't see it, or there will be something down there that they will see, which is not the sun, but we can't verify it because they're not live streaming it. So that's what we're doing. We're saying that.
So why doesn't someone go and prove the lie? This is the point.
That's why Flat Earth is rising, because we've been proving the lie.
Do you realise how weak this is making Flat Earth look? Like, they've always screamed about how this definitely won't happen and we'd prove it, but we're not allowed to go. Here you go, you can go. And now suddenly it's excuse after excuse. No one wants to go.
He did it
Everyone's
so wrong. Like, instead of like saying from the outside, I have a challenge for flat earthers, what he should have done was like said.
Do you know why he's taking globe people? You know what he's made? That he's going to make them sign an agreement that if the sun does set, they have to go on camera and say the sun did set. So that will convince the globers that this sun has set. That's why there's one of each going. Potentially, that's what he wanted. He wanted him and one of each to go, so they can just get together, film it together, agree on it. Somebody that both sides might listen to. And take that they're not a shield, or that they're not a controlled opposition or anything like this. And yet none of them will go.
Look,
Can you not see how that looks fucking ridiculous?
The globe is collapsing around.
I don't care about what your perception of everything. I'm asking why no one will go. Why are you desperately trying to Flat Earth is rising? I don't care. I agree with you, right? The amount of people that I see on TikTok doing Flat Earth lives and all the comments full of the same old find this level and the same old shit off of Eric DeBay's video that everybody just repeats thinking they've got this special knowledge. I totally agree. I think it is rising. So they should do this. Should be the definitive thing then. Send someone you trust, send whoever got you into it, and let them observe what they say cannot happen.
Yeah, but can't you or Duffy or whoever, then you can see the response from Flat Earth. So the correct thing
running for the hills is the response.
The correct thing should have been was to talk directly to flat earthers. Hey, flat earthers, I've got this endless amounts of money. What would
he sent an email out to 24 of them.
No, that's not how you do it. That's not the right way. That's not how you do it.
That's not good enough.
He needs to get involved in the discussion with the flat earthers on the ground, the people who are going against him, right? And ask them directly, what is it that you would like to be done? No one's...
Okay, I've just got... someone just wants to ask you something. I'm just going to bring them up quickly. I've just said in the thing.
Hi, Gas.
Hi.
Hello.
Right, last time you didn't really get to answer because it all got cut off. The scenario about my car breaking down and a mate comes along, gets a rope, ties to the front of the car and then drives up a hill. What is happening to my car?
I don't know if Whatkast wants to get into this.
Well, no, just answer a question.
This is nothing to do with the subject.
It's just...
if it's a continuation from something else and he just wants to ask you this one question, fine. If you think you can answer it, just answer it. Then we'll get back to topic.
Yeah, because he wouldn't answer it last time because he was saying there's no pulling forces don't exist and the car's being pushed. When I said, well, how's it being pushed when the car in front is pulling my car? And now Gas is being disingenuous because he doesn't want to answer.
The rope is on the toe, which is pressing on the toe.
Come off it, Gas.
No, that's what's happening. But again, I don't want to get into this discussion right now.
It's the same everything. With all you just going around in circles with this Antarctica stuff and everything. It's the same with everyone. All flat earthers.
I'm highlighting the issues that globers are not seem to understanding of why we don't accept it. Because we're pointing out that the sky, whatever happens, the stars could go upside down, back to front, different, doesn't matter. As long as the ground we walk on is not curving from one end to the other, it's completely straight, no obstruction, no earth curvature. That's the most important thing.
But then explain the 24-hour sun then.
We don't have to.
What do you mean we don't have to?
What do you mean?
Well, this is, again, you're not listening to flat earthers. Flat earthers don't have to make a model to falsify your globe.
Yeah, right, Gas, what have you done? What physical...
That's just what Witsit says, and you just parrot him. No, we don't have to make a model, because you know you ain't got one, and if you ain't got one, you can't have a different opinion.
That's what all the flat earthers say. All flat earthers will tell you, we don't have to give you a model.
I know. Why do you think they say that? Why do you think they say that, Gas?
Because we're falsifying the lie. We're debunking.
Because you know it would be falsified within seconds. People like Stingray sit online and do it 24 hours a fucking day falsifying your flat earth.
But again, why is that relevant? Why is a model important? Why do you need
Why is
that?
nothing relevant if it debunks flat Earth?
Yeah, but why is a model relevant? If you're in an enclosed system, why do you need predictions about planets or so-called planets or stars or the sun? Why do you need those predictions in a flat Earth? Doesn't make sense. It's a clock. Everything goes around east to west. You watch it. You observe the path. You document it. And
Again,
you have a cycle. Why do you need these predictions for space?
the only reason you don't want to talk about it is because you know that the Earth can't be flat with the way the sky moves. So you just say that's not important to us.
No, it just means that you can't understand how the sky works on a flat
You can't
Earth.
understand why things go around 2 different points of rotation in the sky. And
You say it's because the Earth is curving, but that hasn't been proven.
I say it's because the Earth's a sphere, because that's exactly makes perfect sense on that. And you say it just does because of perspective, which what do you think sounds more reasonable? Everyone's looking at 2 different points of rotation, north and south, or it just looks that way, but it's not really because it
just
depends on
means
which
we
way you're
don't
facing.
understand the sky, how it works. Why is that so difficult for you?
So how does it work then on the flat
Yeah, but I'm
Earth?
asking, why is that difficult for Globus to accept? We don't know how it works. Accept it.
So, okay. So that's just your get out of jail card, is it?
No,
Why
I'm
don't
not
this
saying,
work?
no, I'm not saying that. We should find out how it works. But I'm saying, even if we don't know how it works, why is that such a big deal? We're not going to know everything, are we? Not everything will be known.
Because if you're going to say that, if you guys are going to come out with all this same old crap about gravity, ha 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 ha, people stand upside down in Australia, ha ha ha, then when people mock back and say glass dome, what a load of bollocks, the sky goes around 2 points, not 1, what's your answer for that? You go, doesn't matter.
Yeah, but dome makes scientific sense. You need for the gas. That's why we say it, because of the gas pressure, it needs containment. So that's a scientific point.
Why?
Because you cannot have gas pressure without the container.
You just, you can't have gas pressure without a container.
name
You
here is
say,
gas
why do you
pressure,
word it in
bro.
exactly the same way as well?
My name here is gas pressure because you cannot have
know.
it. To point out, you cannot have it without a containment.
So when things contain a gas, is there a
I don't know
gradual
why Globers
gradient?
don't get that. That's you can do that yourself. A can of Coke needs the top to have the pressure. You open the can, it releases pressure. That's normal. Everyone can do that. A spray can, you pierce the hole, you release the pressure.
Why is
a container.
So at the top of your firmament is the pressure less dense or more dense than the ground?
What do you mean more dense?
At the top of your container, at the very top you can get to before you smash your head into the glass, is that less dense or more dense than the floor?
Well, it's less dense.
Right. So why isn't everything rushing up to fill the partial vacuum of the top of the container?
Because we live in a dynamic system. Things
Which
are
means
changing.
what?
Things are changing. We have temperature variance, we have a sun, we have a moon, we have all sorts of things going. We have a weather system.
Is the sun
going on.
inside or outside of the container?
Again, I'm not going to make that claim.
Why do you make any claims then? What is the point in bringing up gas pressure in a container if
That
you
is a
don't
claim
want to talk about it?
because we can verify that with hands. I just told you, blow a balloon up, a spray can, a Coke can, a gas can. In order to have the gas pressure, you need the container.
But there's no gradient in the gas can.
We can physically demonstrate this. That's why I talk about it. This is real science, hands-on, right? Not guessing.
Whose hands?
Demonstrate.
Hands-on. I mean, we can physically pierce a can. We can pop a balloon. We can open a can. We can open a bottle. We can spray a can. We can release the gas. We can increase the gas. We know how vacuums work. We know how containers work because it's science. It's hands-on.
What's the pressure? What's the gradient for then? Why is that happening inside a container? Come on, hit me with electrostatics.
Well, I would say it's just temperature. It's warmer down here, colder up there. Heat rises.
Why is it colder up there where the sun is?
Because the gases are made down here at surface level. So the gases, that's why it's more dense down here, because that's where it's created. And as it goes up...
It's created?
It's created down here, yeah. So gases like through people, through
What's
animals,
creating it?
Plants, through the
Through
earth.
plants, through earth. So in the desert, they were getting as much created as we are in the city.
Yeah, there's going to be water underneath that, right? Way down under the earth. So all the gases from the earth where it's down here is created is going to be the most dense, obviously, right? Because it's down here. As it goes up, it's
Why is that
thin
obvious?
up. Because it's made down here. That's
By
why.
what?
Why? I've just explained it.
Yeah, explain again.
So plants, animals, you know, the earth.
So
the
plants,
gases.
animals, the earth. So it should be denser in the city than it is in the desert then, where there's nothing.
No, the earth.
Right. So the earth in the desert makes up the entirety of what's creating it in the city.
Yeah, but there's more water, right?
Well, in the desert.
There's more water than in the desert. Yes.
Right. Okay.
So there's more water on the earth than there is in the desert. Yeah. So that means there's more.
So
gases.
what's creating? Why is the density the same in the desert as it is in the city?
It's going to
at the
spread
ground
out.
level.
It's going to spread out. It spreads out over the ground first, and then rises because of the heat.
Why? If we're in a container, why are we not getting hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter all the time? If the sun's inside spinning round and round providing heat.
I've just said because we're in a dynamic system where weather patterns.
But you just say words. Explain to me what you mean by the dynamic system.
Things are changing. Like we have a sun, we have a moon. The moon plays a role. Like it gets like a cold moonlight. The sun, we don't know exactly what it does. It gives us obviously light and heat, but it obviously plays another role. If you know, with electricity, magnetism, things like that. So again, there's a lot to speculate about how these things work. But in order to have the gas pressure in the first place, it requires containment. You cannot have the pressure without the container.
So, Gang,
yeah, go on, Chris.
why can't you demonstrate that on a smaller scale and prove your hypothesis?
On a smaller scale, what do you mean? Just get
Get a container, create stuff in it, and create gradual gradients of pressure in a container that you say that how world lives on.
Yeah, so if I get gas and pump it in from the bottom, that gas is going to be densest at the bottom, and as it rises, and then if I obviously put like a heat source in there, and then like a moon source in there, it's going to have an effect on that.
No, Gas, because once you fill the container up, it equalises the pressure.
Yeah, but like I said, you've got the sun and the moon.
So demonstrate that on a smaller scale.
Well, you can get like a star in a jar. That's as far as we've got with science and testing things like...
Has my tyre got a pressure gradient on my car?
No.
Why not?
Because the gas is going to fill the available space.
Yeah.
But that would happen on Earth.
Not if there's a sun and a moon and a weather system, electricity, magnetism, things like that. If you put a magnet at the bottom of your tire and, you know, other things like...
There is a magnet at the bottom of my tyre. The Earth. It's still on there. It should still work the same way.
Again, look, we can speculate about how the system works. But again, the most important thing is the air we breathe is under pressure. That pressure has to come from somewhere. There's no force at play. There's no science for that. And the only thing we know that gas can be under pressure is, without a force, is a container.
But in containers, pressure equalises.
Yourself.
No, that's what we can demonstrate. You can't show me otherwise. You can only, you know, theorize.
Do I need a sun and a moon in my car tyre to make it work?
If you had other, you know, things in there, a weather system, electricity, magnetism.
You want me to put a weather system in my car tyre?
Yeah, then you would get a fluctuation, right?
You're
obviously
fucking
not.
winding me up.
No, you're being silly. Why would you ask such a silly question?
Because you're saying that's what I need for that container to not work the same as the container that we're in, right?
No,
so that container works one way. The reason we don't work that way is because we've got a sun and a moon and a weather system.
Right, it's different to in your tyre, isn't it?
Is there a gradient or not?
In your
why does the sun and moon make everything be more dense at the ground?
But listen. The gradient is because the gases down here are created. That's where it's going to be most dense. Why is that difficult to understand?
Because you can't demonstrate why it would be more dense in a widely populated area if we're the ones creating everything, and in the middle of nowhere where nothing is, it's the same density there as it is everywhere else.
Do you mean there's no air in the desert? It was very dry.
What are you talking about? I didn't say that. You're saying what creates that. I'm not even going down this road with you because you know you're talking bollocks anyway. Let's
I'm
get
saying
back
the
to
gas
this.
is down here on the
You
Earth.
won't look. It's pointless having this conversation because you won't even accept that Australia see the sun in the sky longer in December than they do in June.
No, I
you
didn't
think
deny
that hasn't been proven?
No, I didn't say that. I said if that's what happens, that's what happens.
Right, but
I
going
didn't
further south
argue any
would
of your
switch.
I'm not arguing any of this. The only point of contention is a 24-hour sun, which you're yet to verify, which in December...
Which is going to be verified, and you are running like hell to not verify it and to just pretend that it's false before it's... You're now... Like, you are the first person I've heard say it's going to be a studio. Like, that's a new
I don't know
one.
where you get studio from. I didn't say studio. I said the
Okay,
studio
what did
was
you
for
say?
I said studios for the moon landing. I'm
Yeah.
saying for down there, they're going to use some type of like an ISS, like an aircraft or something in the sky that's going to hold it up at a distance. And have
You think they're going to have an ISS going round and round in the sky with a sun swinging off of it, and that's going to fool people?
I don't know. I'm saying something light to hold it up. Whatever's going to be. I don't know what aircraft they're going to use.
What, you think that they won't see an aircraft up there?
If the light is bright enough, how are they going to see the aircraft?
So how high up are they going?
How would I know?
Well, how high up would they need to go for them to not see the aircraft but to see the sun?
Again, how would I know these things? I'm just speculating.
Why are you saying it then, if you've got no idea about anything that you're talking about?
Because you haven't heard of a sun simulator before, right?
Yes, but not in the
So
sky.
they have to keep that sun simulator in the sky somehow.
Right, so I'm saying how?
Well, you're acting like I know what they're going to do, but they're going to do it somehow.
You're claiming that's what they're going to do. So I'm saying, how are they going to do it? I'm not saying they're going to do it. It's your claim.
Yeah, once we see what they do, then we'll be able to answer that. We can't know until they do it.
Well, they're going to have like a Boeing 747 with a sun hanging off of it.
They're going to have something, I don't know what. I have no idea what. They're going to have something with a bright light on it that goes around, and that's going to be one way, possibly.
And what? Okay, so think of something more reasonable then, that might not be so ridiculous.
I mean, it's going to be something in the sky. That's what they're going to see. Something go around them in the sky, but which is not going to be the sun.
So how are they going to hold this thing up?
He's saying they're going to tie it to a plane.
However, the ISS is kept up. Remember, the ISS goes around the Earth.
Orbit.
It doesn't go around the board. It goes around the Earth. It stays up for a very long time. So whatever technology they use, they're going to use it. You're acting like I know what they've got.
So does the sun exist? The actual sun, right?
The sun does exist, yes.
So where's that going to be hiding when they're doing this trick?
You're acting like they're going to do it live streaming. They're going to come back days later. No, they're going to come back days later with footage, with video, not live streaming it live. Using
it'll be ridiculously impossible almost to live stream it with the internet and that as it is down there. So that's that's your standard of evidence.
I thought you had Starlink.
I haven't got anything. Starlink barely works in the sticks.
Globers.
Starlink barely works in rural Scotland.
The internet.
I know people that use it and they're constantly staggering all through their live streams. It's not consistent enough yet.
It's meant to be the best internet, so I don't know what you're on about. People use it on boats, they use it on planes, they can
get internet on it.
Right, so they need to live stream it. What's the problem?
It's not got the bandwidth to do video.
Ago. You see, you've got no excuse. What
do you mean no excuse? If they live stream Gas, I'm going to make a prediction, right? Say they find a way to live stream it. Are you going to sit there and go, "Oh, it's live stream, I believe it now," or are you going to say that ain't live? I can see the cuts in the clouds.
If they're live streaming it and they're talking to us in real time, what are you talking about, bro?
You don't even accept that the sun stays in the sky longer in the south in December.
I don't know why you keep saying that. I didn't say any of that.
What you said, right?
I said if that's what you say happens, that's what happens.
No, you said that we haven't observed this. That was your words, and I said that there's a time for sunset and sunrise.
I'm talking about 24-hour sun.
Yeah, and so if you go further south, which is where Antarctica is, that's what would happen. That's the logic, right?
That's what you predict in your model. Yeah, it's wrong.
So everything works perfectly until you get all the way out past the furthest bit of land, and then it completely switches, and the sun is only there for a little while.
Well, it just goes out and then it comes back in.
Goes out and comes back in. Why doesn't it do that everywhere else then?
What are you talking about? It spirals out and then spirals in.
What, in one day?
Not in one day, no.
How many hours of sun, not sunlight? How many hours of sun should they get then? What's your prediction?
They'll probably get all sunlight because of the coffee caustic thing.
No, sun, not sunlight, sun.
Oh, the actual sun. If it was real. Just whatever's normal, whatever they should. I think they get
You're just going to throw a number out, aren't you?
No, I think they get a lot of hours. I think the webcam showed 16 hours, I think, then they cut the camera.
16 hours.
But I don't know if that was sunlight. So again, it was on the webcam.
So I don't know how many hours. I don't know how many hours of sunlight they get of sun they get in Australia at that time of year, or the furthest south point that people live on. I don't know, but I bet it's probably more than 16 hours.
Possibly more, but they didn't show it on the webcam. All they need to do is live stream it as much as they can, on YouTube, TikTok.
So if they don't live stream it, and Jaren and Whitsitt do go, which is unlikely, but let's say they go, and they come back and they say, look, we're fucking, this is falsified what we believed. We need to figure this out.
They're on their own because most flat earthers are going to be like, whatever, because we're still going to argue that
because they've got the courage to stand behind what they've said, and you lot don't want to be wrong.
Because it wasn't done in-house, like I said. If Jaren and Whitsitt had went on their own back and said, we're going to do it right, we're going to live stream it as much as we can, done it properly, because speaking to flat earthers, what do you think should happen? Not how Will, because every time Will debates this or speaks to someone and someone says, oh, Will, what about doing it like this? He says, well, you go and fund your own experiment. Obviously, yeah, but the point is he's not listening.
He's not going to pay for the entire... If people want to come and do different tests, he's paying for the trip. They can do whatever tests they want when they get there. He's made that perfectly clear. If people want to bring tools and do their own experiments, great. He pay for them to get there. They can do whatever they want once they're there. He's been very clear. I spoke to him for an hour and a half myself. I know exactly what he's claiming.
No. Yeah, I know that. I'm saying when flat earthers are saying we should have done this or this is what should have happened, he's saying go and fund your own experiment, which I agree what he's saying. But the point is what we're saying is if you've got money to spend like that, there are better ways to prove the shape of the Earth than going to Antarctica. And he's like, he's mocking like flat earthers, not mocking them, but he's just like a pre-scripted answer. Go and do it yourself then if you think that's a better idea, right? So that's why he doesn't.
What's wrong with that?
Because instead of talking to flat earthers in the first place about what should and shouldn't be done, he's just gone on his own back and told flat earthers, this is what should and shouldn't happen. This is what you should believe. Believe this. If there's a 24-hour sun, it means you're on a ball. We're like, no. What you want about doesn't mean anything like that.
Jaren said it does.
Well, that's what we say. Jaren's on his own if that's what he wants to believe. That's fine. He can do his own thing. He's made mistakes before when he said that he measured curvature. He's on his own. When they said they measured rotation, he's on his own. The same thing will happen again now. He'll be on his own.
And that's surprising that he's on his own. You've all loved him for years, and now he's completely on his own, thrown under the bus. What, this new guy, I can't see his name, got a Derp,
What's up, brother?
How you doing, all right?
Not a flat earther, but what I find funny about this whole 24-hour sun thing is that it's not even needed. Like, there's 17-hour days in South America. That doesn't even make sense. That you can't have more than 12 hours of sunlight in the southern hemisphere, or the flat Earth is done. Like, that's it.
No, I agree, but what he's claiming is, and what they all claim is, sun, not sunlight, because they say you can shine the light in from suddenly outside the dome, and it makes it curl around the outside and give you the sunlight you need.
But that doesn't happen every other time of the year. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird that it just happens around that time. You know?
Yeah, but pointing out, we can explain that phenomena if there's light.
No. You can make claims. You can't prove it. you can say, this is what we think happens. We don't have any proof to it, but this is what we think. Like, you've never done an
the same
experiment.
as you. We're just giving an explanation of what we think is happening. You're saying what happens on a ball, and we're saying we can explain this on a flat plane.
Physically see the sun, though. That's not a claim.
Right. That's not a claim. Like, when I was in South America, I could see the sun for 16 hours out of the day. That's not possible on a flat Earth because on a flat Earth,
you can't prove that.
Hold on, I know.
Yeah.
So what's funny is that at like hour 13, the sun is literally on the exact opposite side of the flat Earth map, but yet the in between is all dark. But I can still see the sun. You know what I mean? So like flat Earth has a lot of problems that this 24-hour sun doesn't even need to be involved in this. Like the southern
It's just difficult to explain the phenomena that we see. That's all. It just means we're not capable of explaining it. That's all.
No, we can readily explain it. Stingray, who just joined up, literally has an entire model that can explain it. But Flat Earth doesn't have a model, and it's weird because Flat Earthers claim that we
don't live on a model. That's why.
Right. A model is used to explain what we observe. Okay, and if we can use that model to make predictions, it therein validates the model. I've been trying to get a flat earther to tell me how they can calculate their sunrise and sunset from their latitude and longitude like I can on a globe, but they can't do that. They don't even know what the hell a solar declination angle is. They don't know what an hour angle is. They don't know the trig that is involved in any of this. And then you just go, that's just math. Okay, so give me your prediction, Gas Pressure. How can you calculate your sunrise and sunset at any given day, any given latitude? What's the math on that? Because
what makes you think that flat earthers have said they can do that? Where are you getting that from?
I know they can't. That's my point. Is that using
why are you
model,
asking for flat earthers for that?
Right, because
you haven't
using
said anything of the sort.
Okay. Using our model, we can do that. So if you can't do that, that's one nail in
but your model says the Earth is curving. That's not true. There's no measurable curvature.
Again, look. I am not even talking about curvature. I'm talking about the model that we make predictions on.
What's up, son?
Is accurate.
Okay, sorry, we've got two new people popped up. Son of Africa, hello. Stingray, you came in first. What did you want to add to this chat?
I'm going to say I've recently just added, by the way, anybody that thinks that you can't make a flat Earth model, you can do so simply with the word flat and take absolutely everything else from objective reality. So the only assumption is that the Earth is flat. Everything else is objective reality. That includes azimuth and declination of the sun, or the effective GP of the sun through the year, the longitude and latitude positions of things. And you can just take it all and then realize, well, this doesn't work. And the only thing that I changed here was the word flat. But what I was going to say is I've just put up a video that's got a fair number, a few thousand views now, and a large conversation on it. And it quite simply states the following. There has never been a flat Earth sundial ever to exist throughout all of human history. And I clearly outline what you would need to do to demonstrate this to yourself. And it's quite simply get a sundial that works in your garden. Bring it inside, put it on a flat surface and have a local light. And making only 1/24 steps around a center point, see if you can get it to tell any kind of time. You have the free rein to put the sundial anywhere you want on the table. And a free rein to change the altitude of the light source anywhere you want. You will not be able to do it. You can then take it back outside. Make sure it still works, because something might be wrong. It still works outside. Bring it back inside. Now take the light source, put it at the other end of the room. Attach that individual sundial to a beach ball. Put it at the angle that it's built for, so the latitude, and simply rotate the beach ball at 15-degree increments. It'll tell the time perfectly. No flat earther will have a go at that because it demonstrably shows that there's never been a sundial that would work on a flat earth, only a sphere.
Son, you was mocking Stingray from the comments there. Do you want to come in on that? Can I just, before you do, got a Derp person, can you just mute when you're not talking? Thank you, because you've got some hissing in the background there. Son of Africa, go ahead.
Thanks for having me up here. Yeah,
Nice.
I asked Sting a couple of days or weeks ago about the stars on his model, and this is the thing that I've been speaking with when I go live or host a live, like, because they say like speak with Stingray, and then people they say like Stingray has everything like on his model, like working everything, but I think a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I asked for stars or Polaris because people would observe Polaris when the Georgia Guidestones were there. But so like someone asked like if we can ask Stingray to produce something like that, but he hasn't done it.
Yeah, I'll respond to that. The second any flat earther ever does anything that resembles a scientific measurement, I'll put in effort to help them. Until that point, I will put in exactly the same scientific evidence that is the accumulation of all flat earthers, which is 0.
Son, nothing?
No, that's all I wanted to say about the stars. Like until I see the star, the Polaris.
So I've got a question, son.
Sure.
Really quick question, son. If I did, because someone else has asked me to do the Georgia Guidestones, but I believe they were destroyed, actually, believe it or not. I don't know. I've yet to look at it. Someone sent me the approximate dimensions, but I'd want everything about that site and like photographs, dimensions, aperture of the stones, things like that. It wouldn't take me long to do. But here's the thing. If I did that and showed you that it was true, would it save you or would you just dismiss it? What would be the outcome if I showed you that it would only work on a globe? Because the amount of times I have jumped through literal hoops because a flat earther said, show me this, and guess what they did? Ignore it and move on to the next thing, and that's fucking dishonest and insidious.
That's why. Sorry, son. I will let you respond. That is why everything feels like a waste of time to me. That's why I try to keep to this, because I know the same thing happens with this, right? So the same thing happens with this experiment, observation, whatever. But as we've been discussing in this live today, the further south you go, the sun is observable in the sky for longer and longer and longer periods of time in December or in the southern summer. Yet they don't believe that will continue until you get to the furthest point south because we haven't seen it, right? Even though it's logical that will happen, they really don't care. And I see Stingray quite often. I jump into his lives and have a watch for a little while. And there's people saying, make this happen, do this happen. He does it. And then they're like, ha, it's just a model anyway, who cares? Like, it feels like such a waste of time. Why demand evidence? And this is what bugs me about this the most. Why demand evidence? You demand this. Weiss and everybody else has said, no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. We can't go. We're not allowed. No 24-hour sun. Prove it, prove it, prove it. Here you go. Here's some money. You can go prove it. Nah, you're all demons. It's fucking ridiculous, right? Go on, Gas.
Well, no, I mean, it's right. I mean, again, it's not done the right way. It's very suspicious. Nobody does this. You wouldn't do it. Stingray wouldn't do it. Nobody would spend £100,000 to send 2 strangers.
Somebody is.
Yeah, and that is suspicious. That's strange. That's odd. That's bizarre.
So whoever did, you'd say that's suspicious.
Yeah, because how things are normally done is that we raise the money through the public. We crowdfund. We say, hey guys, we have a project. We're going to send a flat earther. We're going to send a glober down. Do you support? And the people would be like, okay, yeah, we're all in on it. We all support it. We will put something in. So we're going to be more invested. Not just some guy out of nowhere.
Sorry, I've got to ask a question quickly. Stingray, you do these, you model these things all the time. So I was saying I don't know how long you've been in here, but I was saying to Gas earlier on, and he's trying to walk it back now, but he was trying to claim that no one's ever verified that the sun is visible in the sky in southern Australia, southern Chile and stuff in the summer.
No, I didn't say that.
What did you say then?
I didn't say any. You said it. I said, okay, if that's what you say happens, that's what happens.
You didn't say that at first, right? So anyway, regardless, okay, we'll take Gas out of the equation. So would that happen on a flat Earth? If you modelled a flat Earth and you put the sun where they say the sun is at that time of year, would it be in the sky for longer periods of time than it would be the rest of the year?
Well, unfortunately, and I'm sorry to say this, it doesn't matter how much delusion you inject into it. The sun would be in the sky 24 hours a day. It's that simple. As would the moon.
Doesn't set, yeah.
Yeah. So but the remarkable thing, the difference about a flat Earth and a globe geometrically is quite simply motion and distance. So the longitudinal lines on a globe, as you get to the equator, the second they approach as they start to approach the equator, let's say north 20, they start not diverging as much, all the way to the point where when they cross the equator, they are now parallel to each other, every single longitudinal line. And then they start converging after that. Now that creates very, very specific predictive differences between ignoring the fact of sunrise, sunset that can't happen on a flat Earth. It creates very different predictive results because of that. Now, the craziest one that it produces in, let's say, the December months in Australia is the sun doesn't rotate around the north in Australia below the Tropic of Capricorn. It simply does not. If you're in Brisbane, anywhere in fucking December, the sun rises south of east, but then comes north of you and then sets south of west. Now, if you say that's going in a circle, which it would have to be on a flat Earth, you'd also objectively have to accept that it's going in a circle round a southern point from you, not a northern one. And this is something that no one's ever actually combated anything that I've said about this, but it's objectively true with the data and examples that are on YouTube.
And I've also seen it because I've been to Australia twice, so in December. So it definitely does exactly what Stingray said. And whenever you bring this up, they have the craziest explanations. I've heard them say there's like, you have your own personal sun, there's multiple suns. Meanwhile, we all have one explanation. One. But they have like
explanation is false.
Yeah, exactly, Gas. What do you say to that? You've got about a billion different explanations.
We may come up with different explanations, but your one explanation is false because you're saying it's because of the Earth is curved.
How is it false?
Because the Earth doesn't curve.
No. What we're saying is that our model predicts this, that it's going to set due southwest, rise due southeast. We predict all of that. We can predict where it's going to come up at the horizon, like what position we should be looking at. And we do all of this using a globe model. You can't do that with a flat Earth model. I can't ask you what, from your position, where will the sun rise?
It's not that we can't do it on a flat Earth. It's just that we haven't had enough exploration to do it on a flat Earth.
Hold on. So which one is it? We've always known the Earth is flat. Hold on, Gas. So which one is it? We've always known, all of humanity has always said the Earth is flat, or we haven't had enough time. Which one is it? Is it that you've had 7,000 years, or is it that you just want to?
No, I'm saying that you're saying the sun does something. So I'm saying that that's based off a model. Not what we've investigated. No one has tracked the sun from the beginning, like the north, all the way out and then back again.
Oh no, we actually do, because everyone can see the sun.
Well, again, that's the claim you guys make. That's the problem we have. You say you've done it, you can't show it. That's what we're talking about. We haven't explored the Earth enough and the sky to tell you exactly.
7,000 years?
Wait a minute, flat earthers haven't ever measured anything, so I believe them, right? In 7,000 years, 100,000 years, it won't make a difference. There's no effort there.
Well,
but here's the weird thing.
Assumed.
So, on a flat Earth, the only assumption you need to make is that it's flat. Now you can take absolutely everything else with either pure logic that's not up for question or objective reality. So an example would be this. The Earth may be flat. That's it. Speculation out the way. Objectively, on the Tropic of Capricorn, December 22nd, 23rd, the sun's ground position at solar noon objectively lies on the Tropic of Capricorn. It is a mark that crosses a few continents, including Australia, Madagascar, South Africa, and South America. It is not up for question that if you stand on that line at solar noon, the sun's coming straight over your head. Therefore, it orbits on that line on a flat Earth objectively. That logically has to be true. Now we can test it and nothing fucking works. It's that simple.
Gas.
Yeah.
Gas?
Him or Son of Africa aren't going to have anything. All they're going to say is that, well, that's what you claim. That's what you claim.
I mean, again, arguing a model is arguing theory.
Oh my God. Okay.
What you
we
think
can
is
make
happening.
predictions with a model and they actually are accurate, we have therein validated the model. Do you not understand that's how models work?
You haven't validated. That's the point. We're going in December to try and verify one of the things that you said has happened. Curvature hasn't been validated. Gravity hasn't been validated. So your model is broken. Without these things scientifically and measurably proven, you're working on a theory. That's why there's no point answering your model questions.
Jesus Christ. This is insane. Right.
Where's your science for gravity that holds water to a board? You don't have it, so it's a theory. Where's your measurement of curvature? You don't have it. Where's the drop from horizontal? You don't have it.
We have all of that. You just are a potato.
Well, there you go again. That's saying, oh, we have it. You don't.
You don't accept it though, do you, Gas? Have you ever seen any evidence and thought, that's actually, I'm going to check that out and make sure that we're
I've
to
checked
verify
out
that?
all of your evidence.
You won't even entertain the idea that the sun might be in the sky for 24 hours in Antarctica. You just pre-dismiss it, don't care. It's not going to happen, and it's perspective, and they're going to fly a plane. You actually said they're going to fly something up there to dangle the fucking simulator sun off of it.
You're changing what I'm saying. I'm saying you've heard of the sun simulator, right? So they're going to use that somehow, possibly, to simulate the sun.
Sun simulator.
You're acting like this is like some futuristic.
So now we're living in the future.
Futuristic idea, but not in the 60s. They have this now today. Not a big deal.
Where?
What do you mean where?
No, they've got a sun simulator, but it isn't in the sky. It's in China somewhere.
You would only pull it out when you need to pull it out. For example,
do you
like
know
this in
how
December.
big? Do you know how big that mini sun fusion reactor is?
It doesn't have to be big. It has to be bright. It has to be bright, and it has to mimic the sun.
Right. So I'm sure they're just going to take a bunch of Milwaukee batteries, put it on a balloon, and launch into the sky.
You can mock it. That's all part of the gig. Is to mock the idea. Right? The technology is there. They did it in the 60s with the moon landings. Right? They tricked you already.
Here we go.
They tricked you already when it comes to the globe. And they're going to do it again.
All right, I'm gonna close this live down a sec because I've got to go off. I'm recording in about an hour for something else. So can we just go through the panel before we go? Because this is the question. Son of Africa, why are flat earthers so scared of the final experiment in Antarctica?
I don't think that it's going to happen. To me, I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay, but why will no one agree to go is my question.
No, I think one of them, Nathan actually applied, but they refused him. I think they're actually looking for special people.
They obviously don't think he's one of the influential 24. So he said that to me as well. That he's been
Why not take someone that's in-house?
Because they don't think anyone will listen to Nathan. Basically, that's obviously the reason he's split the community.
You've seen that no one's going to listen
anyway,
to Jared.
I'll get to you, Gas. Right, Stingray. I think I've heard your opinion on this before, but why do you think that they're running so scared from this?
Because they are in fact clinically delusional. So I can't forgive them for thinking that a place that doesn't exist, that can't exist in their worldview, they wouldn't want to go on holiday to it through an invite because it simply doesn't exist and it's nefarious. If you believe that the government's out to get you, they're hiding all of this stuff and the whole world's against you, I do not blame them for saying, I don't want to be part of that because it is a lot of effort. It's a risk anyway, even if it was true, but if it's not true, then it's an incredible risk to those individuals.
Yeah. Okay, got a derp to Flerf. Why are they frightened to go?
Well, because they know that if they go, their grift is up. They can't. Anyone that that shows evidence that disproves flat Earth is always vilified. They're always like shunned. You know what I mean? It happened with the documentary. They're like, oh, it's just a hit piece and they're all lying. Blah, blah, blah. Those guys are shills. So they're not going to do it because they know they're going to lose money. You have Flat Earth Dave, or what the hell his name is, that has like the clock, the Flat Earth clock, that literally uses all of the globe for its app. Like it doesn't, there's nothing on that app that is used, predicted by, a flat Earth.
On that point, I'm gonna ask Gas a question when I get down to him. Right, cheers, Derp. Chris, I think I know what you're going to say, but what do you think?
Yeah, I think they just know that they're all snake oil salesmen and they're going to be called out for it.
Yeah, and Gas, you're going to say that they're not scared, or etc. What are you going to say?
Well, I was going to say again, it's stepping into your lion's den. It's not advisable. We're going into your territory, your rules, and doing it your way. What do
you think about David Weiss? Just a question for you.
He's doing what he needs to do for Flat Earth.
But he literally sells a model to people, like that's his living. Yeah. But you claim that none of you claim a model.
Well, yeah, that's an idea of how the Earth might look. I mean,
might. Yeah, but he sells it. He sells it as fact, and people buy it and use it. Like, got a Derp there. He's got it.
Well, then he knows more than us, right?
He knows more than us,
right? Yeah. Because I haven't seen it in its entirety. He must know more than the rest of us.
Gash, you've got the app, haven't you? You've shown it on live.
What's funny is that David Weiss has enough money. Me, myself, I plan on going to Antarctica myself in 2025. It's like $32,000. David Weiss could go there by himself. He could actually probably pay for a couple of others to come with him. So it would just be them. It wouldn't be some demon. It would be
the amount of apps. So the amount of apps he claims to have sold, he would be a good $400,000 or $500,000. Yeah, so he could go.
Yeah, but remember, there's only two bases you can go from. You can only go from South America, or you can only go from New Zealand. What if he wanted to go from South Africa, or what if he wanted to go from China or Japan? You can't. You can only go where they tell you that you can go. Right?
Yeah, those are the closest to Antarctica. That's why.
Yeah, but I'm saying we should be free to go to any base around Antarctica.
No, you're moving the goalpost. Doesn't matter, right? Anyway, okay. Thank you everybody for jumping up on the chat. Cheers, Gas. Thanks for the conversation. Cheers, Chris. Cheers, Derp. Cheers, Stingray.
Yeah.
Always love your stuff. Thank you, Africa, for coming up.
Cheers.
All right, everybody. Cheers. See you later.
All right.
Bye bye.